There we go. Sorry about that. My wife was like, "Hey, packages. We have them. Can you grab them?" Right before.
Yeah, the countdown lied. That's all.
Yeah. I thought I could do it. I lied. I thought I could do it because she's like, it's closed. And then there's two big boxes that came along with it. And I was like, shit. um, let me... Okay. I put on contacts thinking I'd wear contacts for this one so people could see I actually see my face. But these contacts are so bad that even with a 48-inch monitor in front of me, it's
You can't see?
Yeah, it's blurry. These are old, so I have to go pick up my new ones. I've been lazy. Been 6 months lazy. So let me just pop these out. I'll send you the TriCast link. We'll get that going,
Okay.
and then you can.
How are the audio? I didn't even check the audio levels and see what this sounds like right now. Oh no, I sound pretty good.
Yeah, you should sound good. I kept it as same as yesterday. Yeah, everything
Still
there
feel
should look
like
good.
it's not as loud as I want it, but
Listen, I don't know how I can get you louder, to be honest. I think you are as high as it goes.
all right, that's fine.
Yeah, same settings as yesterday. Okay. I think that's there. I'll be oh my god, it's already so hot. I'm gonna burn.
How are my levels, chat? Am I loud enough? All right, cool. Thank you. So yeah, for those new here and haven't been here to the podcast before, the first 15 minutes from like 9 to 9:15 is the pre-show, which really just means it's the sound check and making sure we get all our technical issues out of the way.
Yes. All right, contacts off, glasses back on. Let's get TriCast going. I'm gonna turn the fan on. I think I need it to survive.
All right, do what you gotta do.
Yeah. All right, sending you the TriCast link. How's everybody been, by the way? There you go.
I think he's talking to you, chat. He knows how I've been, and we're gonna talk about it because I've been great.
Listen,
I've been doing nothing but winning.
there's two sides to every story. There's the winning side and the truth. And the truth. Yeah. Our tale begins. Let's do some socials. Get them socials out.
Oh, I already put the socials out.
You did? Good job. Oh, that was you.
One good thing about you having all the
Okay, I had to mute.
times and stuff on the image.
Mute what times?
No, on the image that you send, it shows the pre-show and the show start, so I can just post it whenever.
Oh, you want me to just remove that, or?
No. I'm saying that's the good thing.
Oh
about
yeah.
The image that you make every week.
Yes.
Is that if I all I have to do is hit up a social that says tonight on podcasting.
Yeah.
And then it has the times on there.
Did you enjoy the B-doofs? I hope everyone enjoys the B-doofs.
Oh, that's funny. I almost cut that story out of the.
Oh no! This is a curated list. I made sure I've added them on the image.
It's not a curated list because a little behind the scenes is what the pre-show is for. Is you had the same story on there twice. I had to delete it one time.
Okay, maybe there's a bad link somewhere in there. But what was that story?
You had the cloud gaming. Now.
Oh yeah, I was trying to get a better story link on there for it.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me see. I'm gonna move these around a little bit as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does it let me? Oh, it does, but not as elegantly as I would like. Hold on. Okay, that's good.
What's the time? Got 7 minutes. Okay.
All right, those back to back. Good. Yes. All right, this is fine.
Yo, it has been hot. I don't know if we have anyone in the Northwest, but it's been ridiculous this week.
Actually, I have a question. Did you watch the whole stream? I know you didn't catch it live. You told me before that you went and watched it today. Did you watch the whole thing?
Listen, a lot of stuff can be doctored on video, so I'm just saying.
This is why we do it live.
Yeah, but you can doctor stuff live. There's that Peacock show called The Capture, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so you watched the whole thing. Can you believe this man had the nerve
Listen,
to challenge me in the first place? To run his mouth?
listen. There was no running a mouth. I'm having words put in my mouth. That's what's happening here.
I believe your exact words are, I hope they've been practicing.
Yeah, I hope they're
Because
practicing.
I'm going to dominate them and
Wait,
embarrass them. I believe
wait
whole-
a second.
the whole tweet on Twitter. I'm reading it right now. Yep, that is it. Word for word.
Okay, I will bring up this tweet.
Word for word, what I said. What you said.
As the producer of the show, I have the power.
Word for word.
Did you enjoy the TikTok I sent or tagged you in last night?
I did. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The one you put on. I think that's giving me a little bit too much credit, but yes.
That's what it felt like. Okay, where's my window capture? Let's jump over here. So this was, in fact, the tweet I put out yesterday over the weekend of a nice 50-foot putt that I wanted to share, and a little bit of trash talk of like I hope.
At the end, you said that your me was coming for us.
Yeah, but my me wasn't there. It was
Also,
Bowser Jr.
I love how your me looks like Martin Short.
Martin Starr, isn't it?
Martin Starr. Sorry.
Yeah. It was a complete accident. It started off as me trying to make myself, and then I realized I had Martin Starr created, so I just called him Guilfoyle, and he is my Mii fighter in Smash. Yeah. He apparently is the character I'm playing as in Mario Golf Adventure as well. So I'm excited to continue his.
I like how well it lines up with that GIF at the very end.
Yeah. What else? All right, let me switch back to countdown. Yeah, but got an exciting episode. Got some fun games that we've been playing. Actually, okay, yeah. Ooh, okay. Thanks for updating your story, mad late.
Yeah. You know how it goes. Listen, this week I've been so busy hosting and stuff, hosting family, that I don't have that many games on here, so this is good. Hopefully we can get in and out on this podcast, and then for those who are interested afterwards, I am going to be streaming some of the new Apex Legends event that's going on right now. Oh snap, the bots are in full effect today.
Oh my god, we can become famous.
Yep.
How much money do you have, Rob? Can we buy followers?
To become famous?
Yes.
I have zero money.
Big follows. Come on.
$0.
We're gonna do it legit.
Yep. Although I'm not trying to be famous.
I know there's something exhausting about fame. You just see it. You see it in everyone's eyes.
Honestly, I'm tired sometimes just getting ready to
Be-
do
being,
this podcast.
being part of this family. Alrighty, so I got a couple more minutes, and then we'll kick it over to the minute countdown, and then we'll start it over uh, at the top. This will be some fun times, a fun podcast.
I feel like I wish I wish that I could be this far out for my camera,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But then that makes the computer unusable at that range, and I need to be able to read articles and stuff like that. So
Yeah. I'm trying to keep. I think I got a good setup today. It's just everything is so bright.
bro, I'm so tempted. I've been looking at ring lights, like
I got a 48-inch, and it's still. Yeah, I think it does a good enough job.
it does a pretty good
Yeah.
job lighting you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, you're using Camlic, right? And then you're using
No, this is actually just the Logitech right now.
Oh, really?
From yeah, I'm pulling it from Discord. I actually
Hmm.
put the cam link on the side for the time being, just because it wasn't. It was more of a hassle. The GoPro wasn't working the way I wanted it to work.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So, all right, let's kick this over. Let's mute ourselves here, and we'll jump on over and get ready for the countdown. You're paying attention to the Discord, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's going on, guys and gals? Welcome to episode 60 of the Workprints Gamescast, brought to you by theworkprint.com. As always, I'm your host, Rob, and I'm being joined by my co-host and producer of this mess of a show, Bilal. What's up, Bilal?
Mess of a show. Honestly, this is the smoothest start we've had. We actually had a pre-show.
Yeah.
And
no,
we
it
had
actually
we
worked
had
out.
ti-
Just giving you a
we
hard
had
time.
time left over at the end of the pre-show as well. Yeah, I think it went really well.
Of course you would, since you're producing it.
Yeah, look, and I even added a little bit of flair for you this week. Look by your name.
Ah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
A little bit of housekeeping and admin stuff out of the way. As always, we record every Tuesday night, 9:15 Eastern, and you can watch us live over at twitch.tv/theworkprint. And then shortly after we go off the air, Bilal does his magic, and then we're available pretty much everywhere podcasts are found. So Spotify, Google Play, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts. So what he's referring to right now, for those not watching live,
Oh yeah.
is I have a little golden Mushroom Kingdom mushroom with a crown on it. And that's the perfect segue for us to go ahead and talk about what we've been playing this past week. Bilal, you want to start us off? What you've been playing?
I guess we'll start off with the obvious. We've been playing Mario Golf, Super Rush, which came out on the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, it's from developer Camelot. It brings you back to the Game Boy Color days of RPG in golf, and it is what you would expect from a Mario sports game. It brings back your favorite characters. You got your Marios, you got your Bowsers, your Bowser Juniors, and some new faces like Charging Chuck from Super Mario World, Paulina, and a few others. It's like the cast of Mario Party playing golf. And I think the big ad this time around for I think this is like the 6th or 7th golf game Nintendo has done, is they brought back the RPG like adventure mode, where you start off as a Mii character that plays through this rookie tournament and to make your way up in the Mario Golf universe. It's been pretty fun so far. You play through the courses, you get experience, and as you level up, you can increase a different type of skills. You have power, stamina, control, speed, power. I said something one of those twice, but it's but you level it up. You create the character you want to play. You can earn coins that are on the course. You can buy outfits, shoes, new clubs as you make your way through the story mode. I played through the first starting area, which introduces you to the basic golf mechanics and speed golf. So after you putt or drive, what's the correct terminology here?
After every shot.
After every shot you take,
Yeah.
you run to the ball. So you have a stamina meter, you have a special dash that you can use. Each character has their own unique dash, so you can like knock somebody over or create an AOE effect of some sort. Yeah, so you run to your ball. There's a time limit to get to it and hit it. And I think every time you hit the ball, you get 30 seconds added on to your timer. And after that, you just need to get it in first. I'm a bit confused about this, Rob. I don't know if you felt the same way. What's the point when you have more than enough time?
So if you run out of time, you get a 1-stroke penalty every time you run out of time. So I don't think it adds 30 seconds after each shot. I think it resets the timer essentially.
Okay.
What this does is it alleviates and stops people like me. I don't know if you noticed when we were playing yesterday, but I was taking my sweet time and lining up these shots, making sure my clubs are the right clubs for the shot and not rushing. Whereas when I'm playing speed golf, it is a little bit of, even if I have plenty of time, I'm still like, okay, well, I got to hurry up and figure this out. I can't be here forever. And so, as he said, I think it's like, depending on the course, it's either a minute and a half or 2 minutes between each shot.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you run out, the timer runs out, you get a 1-stroke penalty. Have you been, it's funny, because of speed golf, I first started pitting my experience points, because you mentioned we get experience for each match in the adventure, and you put that experience towards the different stats that you mentioned before. Before I played a couple rounds of the speed golf, I was mostly focusing on, control, power, spin, and not really putting any points into speed or stamina. But as I played more speed golf and I realized kind of how important it was, that's when I started to put points in there. Not just because I was worried about running out of time, but I don't like how it feels to run to the ball. Like, I just want to be there and hurry on and get on with the game. And I can understand where this could be fun, but it's not my favorite form of golf in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Although it is better than, in my opinion, than the cross-country golf. Have you played any of that?
No, so I just got to the cross-country golf section, and I haven't had a chance to fire that up just yet.
So, yeah, the idea behind that is you have a set number of strokes that you have to complete the course in. So however many holes they have in front of you. And you can do the holes in any order. And so very much is sometimes instead of just going after the hole that's right in front of you, it makes more sense for you to go fairway over to a different hole and kind of just, plot your course ahead of time on how you want to tackle these holes. And they're at different elevations and stuff too. So when you do finish a hole, instead of going to the tee box for the next hole, you actually tee off from that green of where you sank that hole. So there's a lot going on there. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of it versus just the pure normal golf.
Yeah.
I will say there is also a mode called Battle Golf, which I haven't played yet at all. So I don't know how that is going to work out, where that's going to rank. But the pure golf, as you said, the pure golf is fun. It's like exactly what I want after out of a Mario Golf. Anybody can pick up and play. There is some depth to it, and so there will be some skill gaps and some ranges of skill between players online. And it also still rewards people who actually have knowledge of golf, right?
Yeah.
I think we played online for the stream after you ran your mouth on social media. And it was a one-on-one. We played 18 holes. And I really do think that the biggest difference, considering that we both have only spent, at that point, about an hour and a half or so playing the game, the biggest difference between the two of us was I actually play golf terribly, but I play in real life and know how to play and understand the clubs. And you don't. So there was a lot of situations where if I was you taking that shot, I would have clubbed down, or I would have aimed farther to the left or right, just knowing what those clubs, how they behave and how the wind conditions were going to affect it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting because when I was putting out that video, I didn't realize that there was this classism and elitism that was going to come with all of this. I didn't expect to have Rob just. When I showed up to the stream to play against Rob yesterday, I didn't realize it was going to be something like, "Hey, you're not even wearing appropriate clothing for this."
Oh yeah, I was wearing khaki shorts, a polo button all the way up. I had a cap on. I mean, I went as far as putting on my golf shoes. I've got a pair of Nike golf shoes. I was wearing those in my house on my carpet. And so I told you right away, they wouldn't have let you on most courses dressed the way you were.
Right from the beginning, it was I didn't feel welcome. The nerves got to me. I didn't realize I was playing against Tiger Woods.
I wish I had a deep red polo because I would have wore it.
Yeah, no, but I gotta say the online was actually pretty fun. We took turns playing through. I know we messed around with some of those special shots that the game lets you. Each character has. I think with what exactly was Yoshi's? You launched an egg.
Yeah, so with Yoshi's special shot, wherever my ball ended up landing, it would turn all the other balls in a radius, fairly large one at that, into eggs. So when you hit your next shot, the ball didn't roll true the same way a normal golf ball was because it was oblong like an egg. So it rolled differently and it bounced around differently. I will say that some of the shots do feel strong but not overpowered. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't come across a special shot yet that I was like, "Oh, that's game breaking."
Yeah, and well, and just to show how good Rob actually was, I was playing as Bowser Jr. and my special shot creates a smoke effect wherever my ball lands, and so I would use it around the flag, around the hole. So Rob didn't have a clear shot, and at this point, I think we played like 12 holes before we were like, oh yeah, we have special
Okay.
shots,
Right. Yeah.
and so I was a bit behind because I don't know what trees are and it's as simple as that. Like my shot was going through the tree, and I was like, I bet I can thread this needle. I think I
It
can do
was as
this.
if it was as if you had a personal vendetta against birds and squirrels. You were just
Exactly.
destroying those trees.
And like there was one tree that did help me, where I
Yeah.
did, and you didn't commented as much. But that was a high level IQ play by me. I knew exactly what I was doing
Yeah,
there.
big brain.
Yeah, big brain move. Uh, but like, so I would use my special, create a smoke screen. So on the meter, so it's a triple A tap to shoot. So you press A once to set your power meter. The second one is for accuracy. Is there a third one?
No,
Or
no,
am I saying it wrong?
it's a single. No, it's a single tap.
Wait, then what's the second line for?
So the second meter when it comes
Yeah.
back up is to give you time to curve your shot if you want to curve it
Okay.
using the left stick.
Yeah. I've been hitting A again at the end of that for
Okay, no,
accuracy.
you don't. It doesn't do it. It doesn't do anything.
Okay,
So
so
the accuracy is based on depending on who you're playing against, what club you're using, and where the ball is lying, whether it's in the fairway or the rough. All the power meters, all the meters in the game, at the top they have this red zone. And the farther into that red zone you are, the more likely you are to hit a bad shot. So there's a risk, and it's not guaranteed, but there is a risk reward, a little bit of RNG with whether or not you want to go for broke and hit that hard of a shot, max power shot. If you're in the rough or in the bunker, that red bar, which in the fairway is tiny, ends up taking up half or more of your bar. And so that's what dictates accuracy along with player stats. I think player stats, more control, will result in shorter bars.
yeah,
That after you set the power, what it is the ability to actually curve the shot left or right. Yeah, you're bringing it up on the
yeah.
screen right now. and you kind of see that meter. And so yeah, so that's what that second bar is for, to
It is
allow
a bit
you
better.
to curve the shot. Another thing is, depending on what button press you
you set
input when you are setting your power, that dictates what kind of spin is on the ball as well. You hit it once, you just hit A, and it is normal spin. You hit double tap A, you're gonna get top spin. You hit B instead of A, you get backspin. Double tap it, you get super backspin. And so that's about as deep as the game goes, is the curve and the spins.
Yeah, and Rob was out there. He put his finger in his mouth. He was holding it in the air, adjusting for wind and everything. Um, it was he got lucky.
The funny
He got
the funny
lucky.
thing, yeah, I got lucky. The funny thing is, I think I played bad actually, and I am only going to widen the gap going forward. I believe. I think I won by 3 strokes, 4 strokes.
Four,
All of a sudden done.
4 strokes. I had bad luck when it came to clutch putts. Like I think that one right there, where it just hooked right around for what would have been a birdie. So I missed some prime opportunities when we played yesterday. But like credit to you. Even when I used that smoke screen around the hole, you couldn't see the flag, you couldn't see the distance on the power meter of like how exactly needed, and you were still nailing it. And it was like at that point I was like, I can't stop him. He's unstoppable. He's the Terminator. But I will practice, and we'll unlock that. We'll go back to that next course because I think we have 5 more courses to go through.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
I will say that I do see this being something that we pick up and stream regularly, and even off stream. I think this is gonna something I'm going to be playing with my friends.
It's
The online was really stable.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm pretty sure it's peer to peer, and I have that USB Ethernet
Yep.
adapter, so
I was
had
using the same thing.
yeah, I have the best possible connection you can get with the Switch. What still isn't that great. Have you ever done a speed test using that thing?
No, I actually haven't.
On the Switch. So I did a speed test just out of curiosity to see what it would do. I did a speed test on my computer first, and I was bringing up, 900 down, 900 up, right? I put it on the Switch, and I ran the speed test, and it maxed out at like 280 down, which is still really, really
Yeah.
good. It's not quite, but it maxed out at like 60 up, which again, really good for what we're playing, and more than enough. But I think it just goes to show, there are still limitations even with that Ethernet adapter. That you're just not going to get full speeds. And so we did have to use Discord though because of Nintendo refusing to implement
Listen,
a proper
I
voice party
I
system.
got a notification on my phone saying I could use a Nintendo Switch Online lobby to talk to you. It's the best voice party chat system ever created.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so frustrating too, because I really do think. Now, granted, I'm in a position now where now that I've been streaming online and I have the capture card and the setup here, the Switch more than anything is the easiest one because I have an extra base where I just keep the base here now. I drop the Switch in, and I can be on Discord and playing on the same screen, not a problem. But for most people, that's not the easiest solution. And in the past, the way we would try to get around it is we would either keep our Xboxes on and be an Xbox party, because that is still to this day the best party chat as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the consoles. And the other alternative was having Discord open on our phones, which a few years back wasn't as stable or consistent as I would say it is now. And so there are so many games like Splatoon and Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, all these games I would play on a regular basis if it wasn't for the fact that Nintendo's online system is bad, and not having a party chat, even if you limit it to, hey, you have to be friends in order to enter. Everybody has to be friends in order to enter this party chat. Like, them not having something at a base level, at a system level, is a huge mistake, and something that they need to rectify, fix. Now, there have been rumors that they are working on overhauling the back end, and hopefully that is something that we see in the future. But until they have that, I mean, the Switch is not going to be my go-to multiplayer system with friends, no matter how good the games may be on there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think about wanting to play these games like the Mario Tennises with friends and family, but then it's always a voice component that's just like, do we just jump on FaceTime audio?
Yeah, right.
Do I have people figure out Discord that haven't used it before? It's just that component. Like we did use the Nintendo Switch Online app for Smash Brothers when that came out, and
Hmm.
you know how well that. I think we ended up just calling each other after a round or
Yeah,
two. Yeah,
that's what happened to us too. We ended
yeah.
up Discord was acting finicky on the phones, and so we ended up just being in a like three-way call, a group call, something like that. And again, not the most ideal scenario. So besides Mario Golf, which we both agree is very good, and we're both having a good time, what else have you been playing?
Actually, you want to talk about your thing before I jump into my last one?
Sure, you probably have
Yeah,
a lot more to say than
yeah.
I do. So I haven't been playing a lot of games because I had my wife's family over, and we were hosting this weekend and going to other people's houses. But what I did pick up, because Prime Day was last week, was a racing wheel. Specifically, I picked up the Logitech 923 steering wheel and pedals, and I've been messing around with that in Forza Horizon 4. And I've wanted a racing wheel for 6 or 7 years now, but can never justify the price. Now you can, if you're watching live stream, you can see how much it costs normal. I did not pay that out of pocket. It ended up being about half of that, but it was a combination of sale and reward certificates.
I just imagine
But
Monica just looking like, wait, what?
no. I ran it by the boss before I made the purchase. But that's what it was, right?
Yeah,
It very much is a luxury item. It is something that nobody needs.
yeah.
It's just fun. And so I've been wanting one for a while, but could never justify it. And then when it came down to the price it did, and I had the reward certificates with Best Buy, which was kind of competing with Amazon for Prime Day.
So let's take a
And so
look at
I
this.
picked that up, and I've been playing Forza Horizon 4 with it, and it made me realize that I can never buy a really fast car, because I am going to spin that bad boy out or wrap it around a tree, no doubt. I was playing with this, and it took me a while at first to get the hang of it. Anytime I was going faster than 70 or 80, and it even slightly got off road, I was spinning out and wrapping it.
So I remember when my brother bought a wheel back on for the PS2 for I think Gran Turismo 3. It had like that force feed. I mean, like force feedback is always something they advertise in these wheels. It used
Yeah.
to shake like tremendously, and we had it like tied, like bolted down to a desk, and the entire wheel would go crazy. Like, how's the force feedback on this? How's like the turning? Whatnot?
No, it's pretty good. It
Yeah,
doesn't straight shake like crazy.
yeah.
At least this one doesn't. Um, and I haven't. The way I have it set up right now is I just have like one of those TV trays, like those dinner
Yeah.
TVs, and I have it attached and kind of. It has like clamps, so I have it clamped down onto that. I am looking at getting a actual racing mount, um, to kind of
You're just gonna
take
get a
care of
chair.
that.
You're gonna get an actual racing
I mean,
chair. You're gonna make the
I've thought
bracket.
about it. Yeah, I've thought about it. I've looked at them, but I like the chair I have right now for gaming. And there's only so much space,
Yeah.
right? It's not something that I'm just gonna leave out in the middle of the, entertainment area where I play the games downstairs.
How?
And so, yeah, but it's been a lot of fun. I even had like my daughter try it out a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, and granted, she was crashing into everything, but she was having a good time. I had one of my
Is
wife's little
it
cousins come by and try it out.
is it system limited? Like, is it just a
So,
Xbox
yes,
specific?
so this one's Xbox and PC,
Okay.
and they have a PlayStation and PC model, so I can use it on PC. And there are, while it works in almost all racing games, they have something called True Force, which is their force feedback system where they actually work on a game level with developers to implement it, and that's only supported in a handful of games. So that being said, I really enjoyed it in Forza Horizon 4, and one of the things that also pushed me over the edge is we are getting Forza Horizon 5 in a few months, and so I'm already set up and ready for that. One of the cool things I did also, and this is going to sound so silly, but I was driving just in the city, like village streets in
Mm-hmm.
Forza Horizon 4, and I would lean my chair back, put just one hand on the wheel, and just drive like 35 to the streets, just taking in the sights. But no, it's
Have
it's it's
Spotify
fun,
bumping
man.
in the back.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have Spotify on. Yeah, I think it's something that I'm definitely going to implement in my kind of just like wind down and relax routine um,
How are
after a stressful day.
how are the pedals? Like, is there like actual resistance per different car, or is it kind of
Oh,
the
yeah.
same?
Well, yeah, I haven't checked on a car by car basis, but I will say just in general, the acceleration, the gas pedal is there's not a ton of resistance there,
Hmm.
but for the brake there is. There's like a ton on the brake, and especially if you have that set for reverse, because I don't have. I've been just messing around with it in automatic. I haven't switched over to standard yet because I wanted to get the hang of actually driving it with this wheel yet before I switched over to manual transmission. And so if you're using that for reverse, then you have to like actually push down kind of hard on it.
This is
But and yeah,
yeah. Like, this built-in rev indicator is kind of cool, so you know when to shift and stuff.
yeah.
This is I can
No,
understand why this is a
it's definitely
pricey
yeah, it's
controller.
definitely really well made. So that's the next thing I want to do. So I want to get the mount and then I want to get that manual. You see that
Yeah.
shifter that they have. It doesn't come with it right now. The only way to manually shift in a manual transmission is the like paddle shifters on the wheel, and so I'll be messing around with that. But I do want to get one of those real soon.
Listen,
Oh, we'll see.
all I'm saying to everyone watching is if you hit that subscribe button at the bottom, maybe by next
Yes,
year Rob can build a car in his
yes.
house to play Forza Horizon 5.
I'll tell you what. If somehow we ended up blowing up and getting a significant amount of subscribers, I would build like almost like a race car bed in the downstairs that I just use for playing these racing games, Forza mostly. But that wraps it up for what I've been playing really this week. You want to talk about the big game we'll say that you've been playing?
Yeah, no, so I picked up Scarlet Nexus last week for the PS5. I wanted it for the Xbox, but I wasn't able to find an early copy for it on Xbox. So picked it up on the PlayStation. And do you like anime? Because if you do, this might be the game for you.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard this is very anime.
So Scarlet Nexus, you are one of two characters, Yuito or Kasane. You both have the psychokinesis power, where they're able to grab objects and throw them. You live in this world where 99% of the population has some sort of psychic power. Um, uh, everyone that has this is part of Psynet, which is kind of like psychic internet, which creates augmented reality images around the world. So you'd be walking around and you'll see ads up on the wall. So the government's kind of tapped into your body and showing you exactly what they want you to see. Your character. So I started off with Yuito, and so this game is broken off into two campaigns. You play as Yuito or Kasane. Their stories diverge at certain points throughout the story. You encounter each other, but they're off doing their own things. So in order to get the full story, you need to play from both and see things from both their perspectives. From what I've heard and read from people that have finished the game, it's like you'll get the general idea of the story from one playthrough, but both characters play differently, and like the perspective stuff, like what one character is doing while the other is doing something else. It's really good to watch unfold. The world is kind of
So,
like,
hold on,
yeah,
real quick. So you talk about them playing differently. So this
yeah.
game is a JRPG, correct? But is it an action
It,
one, right? It's
it,
not
it's
a.
more an action adventure game with
Okay,
RPG elements. Like
gotcha.
you have a skill tree, so as you level up, you get like points that you can put towards certain abilities in the skill tree.
But no party members.
So you do get party members, but you don't control the party members. So how
Okay,
it works is you're part of this force. Your character starts off by joining the OSF. They grow. So with Yuito, all he was wanted to do is, since he was a kid, he was saved by an OSF member. So he wants to dedicate himself to the OSF. He is your typical shonen character. Shows a lot of promise. Comes from a highly regarded family. But like is doing it on his own as much as he wants. It has a very My Hero feel to it because you have these psychic abilities, but like think of them like quirks. everyone has something different. Like your platoon leader has lightning. One of your childhood best friends has a fire ability. Your best friend has air manipulation, and so it's really cool. And so when you're playing, you have your party mates, and there's a system called SAS where you get to tap into their abilities. So your best friend from childhood named Hanabi, she has pyro abilities. So you hit like R1 and square or whatever button you assign it to, and then your sword and telekinesis attacks gain the ability for fire. So you're tossing around things and just setting things on fire. In the environment, you'll see like a random cars or trash or giant rocks you can take and throw. Like the telekinesis abilities you have feel great. Like it is a lot of fun to go in and just throw shit around. Sometimes you'll
What's
come.
the difficulty like so far? Are you finding it to be a challenge, or is it so far?
There are
you just been walking through?
some challenging fights, but it hasn't. It's not too easy where it's just a stroll. I mean, I've been having to use my health
Right.
items in certain fights, but there are. But I wouldn't say I'm dying. I can't even recall if I might have died like once or twice during a boss fight, trying to figure out my way around it. But outside of that, it's been pretty straightforward from there. Um, the story is absolutely insane. Like it starts off, and then you get a plot twist, and some of the stuff you'll
Okay.
see coming, but then
Yeah.
there's other things you're just like, oh, so they're doing that, and then oh, they're doing that, and like today I played for an hour. I so
So it's very anime. Is
it,
what you're
it it's
saying.
it's very animated. It's not afraid to go there. It's like a sci-fi anime.
Yeah.
The best way to put it. I played for an hour today. I'm in phase 8, and I'll talk about the phases right after this. But I hit a plot twist, big like plot reveal, and I was like, oh shit, that's insane. 20 minutes later, had I not decided to continue playing today, I would not have seen that other plot twist coming. And I was like, what is happening? And like, I'm all in on it. Like, it's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
It's crazy. It's insane. Even the characters will be like, okay, I this is kind of crazy. Like, even they admit like this world is just like what we're not expecting, and it's been fun to see that unravel. And like I mentioned before, the game's broken up into like chapters called phases, and so the phase you get like a story scene, and it's like kind of like portraits. You'll have like the characters on screen, and then you'll have like a persona-esque, like the character's portrait will pop up, and they'll be talking through that. Sometimes it's an animated scene, sometimes it's not. I think the more intense scenes are animated fully out.
Yeah.
But you go through that, you go through the phase, big story events happen, and at the end of then you enter a standby phase. And in that standby phase, you talk to your characters. There's like persona-esque bond episodes that you can have with characters. You learn more about them, more about the world. You actually grow attachment, and your characters actually talk about that shit that's been happening, which is nice because with all those plot twists, all the crazy twists and turns, it's nice to actually have characters recognize and like react to things that are happening instead of just having that story just push right on. And so at
Sure.
times, so at times it does feel like it can be a little bit story heavy. Maybe you get like 20, 30 minutes of cutscenes if you want to invest in those bond episodes. And if you increase those bonds, the powers through like when you borrow someone's powers, you'll unlock better abilities when they're in your party.
So how many hours have you played so far?
So
I know you
I'm
said you were in
yeah.
phase 9.
Uh,
How many hours would you say that is so far?
So I'm 15 hours in on Yuito's story at phase 9. I think there's either 11 or 12 phases in his. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what I saw. And then once I finish his, then there's a new game plus with Kasane, which will carry over my level, so I can just pump a lot of stuff in hers, level her
Okay.
up. Also a pretty easy trophy game if you don't mind playing through it all. If or achievement game if that's what you're looking for. I highly recommend this if you're into anime. It's a ton of fun. If you like the persona-esque bond system, if you like just the general action, like you'll get like in the Bayonetta or Devil May Cry. Well, the one thing I will say is it's not as like Devil May Cry 5 is a well-crafted like level by level world.
Yeah.
With the encounters, like they crafted it in a certain way so the game stands out. This one, maybe the enemy encounters aren't as well crafted, but it's still fun to play. The abilities you get are great. How they evolve over time, it kind of feels like a shonen anime. So it's a high recommendation in my book.
No, I definitely am interested in it. I think I was more interested in it prior to finding out that it was a JRPG and probably going to be a significant time sink. But then afterwards, I was looking into it, and it seems like it is a 25 to 35-hour game. I think you mentioned that when you play through the second time, because it is New Game Plus, you can kind of pump all those points
Yeah.
into, so you start off stronger, so things should go by faster. So I'm excited to see what your final playtime is on that, and I definitely think that it's something that I'm going to pick up, considering that while we do have a bunch of games coming out soon, the next month and a half or so is a little bit dry, and so there will be a spot for that game for me.
Yeah.
I just need to finish up some of my backlog before I dive into that. So, and that's all you've been playing, more or less, right?
Yeah,
Past week?
I touched Ender Lilies, but not enough to talk about it, which is a mini Metroidvania that released, the indie one. But I think we'll do a stream for that sometime this week, dive into that, and maybe I'll get some more playtime. But right now, I'm all in on Scarlet Nexus. I'm highly anticipating, like, just jumping right back in just to see where that story goes. Like, that's the cool thing with the phases. It just feels like I turn it on. I'm like, this is the next episode of Dragon Ball. Like, where are we going next?
All right, well, that wraps up what we've been playing. Some Mario Golf between the two of us. I got a brand new little toy, and Bilal's also been animated out with Scarlet Nexus. Let's go ahead and get into the news. First story up, if you can pull it up on the stream, Bilal, is according to GameSpot, or reporting out of GameSpot, is GTA 6 will reportedly only be out in 2025 and will include a Fortnite-like evolving map. According to a leaker with a solid track record, the gap between main entry releases won't be over until 2025, something which Take-Two's statements during a recent shareholder event backed up recently. Bill, are you a big Grand Theft Auto fan? I feel like it's hard not to be, in considering the era that we grew up, but
I mean, I love 3, Vice City, San Andreas. 4 was fine, and then 5 I've actually, I think I bought like 2 or 3 times depending on the console. I think 360, Xbox One, and then PC. And I never actually finished the campaign in that, and I don't know if I
in
just
5?
in 5. I don't know if I just got
Yeah.
tired of it. It was during my League of Legends addiction, so I just kind of dropped it. But the games are fun. They're very well made. The stories tend to be great. Maybe I'll go back to it. Aren't they doing like a next gen patch for GTA 5 sometime this year as well?
Yes, I believe so.
So I'll probably go back to it then. But it's the thing I find interesting here is that they're talking about the ever evolving Fortnite like map, and
Yeah, and it's something that, Fortnite does,
yeah.
Apex does. For right now, it seems to mostly be online service games
Mm-hmm.
or battle royales, games that have a long lifespan. And I guess it doesn't say whether or not the GTA 6 map will be. I assume the reason for the evolution is because of how popular GTA 5 online is, right?
Yeah.
And that just uses the same map as the campaign. So I don't, although I could be wrong, I don't anticipate there being a ton of new single player content in these evolving maps, but rather the maps changing and evolving to help facilitate and support the whatever online component is going to be released. Because to this day, GTA Online is Rockstar's like biggest moneymaker.
Yeah, I mean, I think were we joking about this a few weeks back? How it probably brings in more revenue than small countries around the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would not be surprised.
yeah, and so they're saying it's going back to Vice City. It's a new version of Vice City. What I think Rockstar might have lucked their way into is because GTA 5 was so good, because Red Dead Redemption 2 took so long to come out, that they kind of got to evaluate what the gaming landscape looked like and got to take their time to work on what GTA 6 could eventually be. And like, I don't know if we had a GTA 6 coming out this year or next year, how much they would have been able to plan an ever evolving roadmap or what they could have done with GTA Online in that case. So I think it's really cool that they got this time. I know one of the factors that they're pushing this to 2025 is they want more consoles in people's hands, especially next gen consoles. I'm more curious on if we'll be at the tail end of this generation by then, or if there'll be mid console cycle. Like we get a One X variant or a PS4 Pro or PS5 Pro
Hmm.
variant at some point.
Yeah.
But when this comes out, yeah, because like, or will it be like the Xbox Series XX, whatever the next generation of consoles is. Like, I mean,
Right.
4 years is a long time, and Rockstar will take their time. If it's not ready by 2025, they won't come out. That's Rockstar's game, but I'm excited to see what they do. I think what they do next will definitely define a lot of open world online games going forward. Uh, like online gaming drastically changed last generation, and so I'm curious to see how it evolves this year or this generation.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, speaking of evolving and changing maps, the new Genesis Collection event that's just came to Apex Legends brings back original Kings Canyon and World's Edge for the event. And so, for those that don't know, I mentioned earlier, Apex Legends has released 3 maps to date. There is Kings Canyon, which is the original map, World's Edge, and then Olympus. Now, Kings Canyon and World's Edge have both been updated multiple times since they were first released. What this event does is brings back those original day one of the release maps. And so there are different POIs or points of interest on the maps that we haven't seen in a year or more. I actually got to play a little bit of this earlier, and even just watching the trailer and then playing it, I got like nostalgia for these old locations, specifically Thunderdome and Skulltown
Skulltown
and
was
Slum
great.
Lake. Yeah, it's funny because everybody's landing at Skulltown now. I mean, you
There are
jump
so
off
many.
the
There are
plane
so
on that
many
map.
great firefights at Skulltown. Like
Yeah,
of what I played in Apex when it first came out, Skulltown was like always the most fun because there's always
yeah.
teams there. There's always great firefights. The verticality was great. Um,
I think earlier today a streamer had a match, an entire match, last 4 minutes and like 30 seconds because everybody landed at Skulltown. And so, and that, listen, honestly, that's kind of been my experience so far with these old maps, I guess we'll say, is that in the first 2 minutes, you're down to a third of the total squads left in the game.
did
With
did they
it with sorry, just
revert any of the weapon stuff?
no, so they didn't
Okay.
revert any of the weapon stuff. And it's funny because even playing today, I had a situation where I realized, oh yeah, some of these changes were for the better, right? Somebody had flown in the we were one of the two we were the two last teams. They had just finished a fight. They flew in using Valkyrie's ultimate ability, which allows her to redeploy and her team to redeploy, and they landed on top of an area that normally isn't there, that you normally can't land on, and they were able to sit up there and shoot down at us and just wipe us right away. And so it was like, oh yeah, there are some places that you could exploit in the earlier maps, and some of these changes were for good. But I'm so far having a blast playing on these. I kind of wish that we could get some of these areas back. As much as I like the changes they've made, there's nothing like, in my opinion, there's nothing like Skulltown and Slum Lakes, and so and Thunderdome. Like,
How long is this lasting?
so this is lasting 2 weeks, I believe it's until July 13th.
13. Okay.
Yeah. And with it also is like all their events, a ton of skins that you can buy. If you want to spend, I think it's like $180 to $200 on skins, you can get all the skins in this event and unlock an heirloom for Revenant, which admittedly looks sick, but not for how much it would cost you to get it.
Yeah.
Any
So
interest in playing? I think I mentioned that. I don't know if I mentioned on stream, but I mentioned to you before. Right after this, I'm going to restart the stream and be on tonight playing through this event and playing these old maps again. Any interest in hopping in, playing a
I
little bit, or
I will have to let you know. There
okay?
is a TV show my wife and I have been watching. We have one episode
Yeah,
left, and so,
Well,
gotten
forget
like
even
already.
tonight. I mean,
Oh
any
yeah,
interest?
this
Is this the kind
week.
of thing that
Yeah,
makes you want to play?
yeah. Because at least I'll be on the winning team this time.
I don't know about that, man. Skill-based matchmaking is rough, and I am playing against some super sweats. That's the one thing earlier today, is that it has brought out more people, but also there's been people who have been. This is the only game they've played for the past 2 years. So,
Oh, that's a
all right,
cool
moving.
heirloom.
Yeah, no, the heirloom is very, very nice. Honestly, they do outside of I don't love Mirage's heirloom, but all the heirlooms are insane, and it really bums me out because I have gotten so many Apex packs and have yet to get an all red one, which gives you the heirloom shards so that you can craft an heirloom. I have a couple heirlooms, but not through those means. All right, on to the next story. We're going to do a little Xbox block here. Xbox Game Pass built directly into Windows 11. PC gaming features also include Auto HDR and Direct Storage API. Now, the Auto HDR is cool. I mean, Xbox Game Pass is pretty much already built into Windows 10 as is. Well, I guess
Kind
the
of.
app is a separate download, but
Yeah.
the normal Xbox app is already built in, and they're just more or less merging the two. As somebody who has the Xbox Game Pass app on my Windows 10 PC, it has all the same features as the base Xbox app with the addition of the Game Pass games. And so the Auto HDR is going to work the same way it does for the backwards compatibility stuff on the Xbox Series consoles, where it'll automatically apply it to the majority of games, and your games should, in theory, look better. The interesting thing for me is the Direct Storage API, which
Yes.
is what the Series consoles what allows them to load so fast. It's also why you have to buy their proprietary storage expansion card to actually access that and make the games run and load as fast as they do.
You think there'll be quick resume on Windows 11 with that, or no?
Um, I don't know. I mean, PCs in general kind of have quick resume in the fact that you can kind of just leave
Yeah.
games up in the background. So I don't know if that necessarily requires it.
I know. Yeah, but having, I think having direct storage API set to Windows 11 might be, it's neat because Windows 11 is a free update to those that have Windows 10, but there is
Yes.
that weird requirement of having, I think it's called TPM protection, which not everyone might have. I think on Intel chips, CPUs, it's the 8th generation series and up, so I have that, and it's called something else. It's not called TPM, which made things confusing for me to figure out. I almost messed around with updating this computer to Windows 10, and then I realized if I mess up the Streamlabs stuff, I'm gonna hate myself. So I held off.
The Windows 11, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
I avoided
I haven't-
on updating for now.
Yeah, I haven't ran that
Hmm.
update check yet. I'm assuming that I'm good, considering that I do have an 8th gen Core i7.
Yeah.
But
The one thing they did mention was with the TPM thing. If your CPU doesn't have it, you can actually buy modules, like separate external modules that you can put onto your motherboard if it has a slot for it. Problem is, as soon as that Windows 11 announcement happened, those things jumped in price, and scalpers are
Yeah, I
now
saw that.
selling them for like $100.
Yeah, of course they
And
are.
they're out of demand, like they're out of stock, so it's crazy. It might not even be a requirement at the end of the day, but for earlier builds, I think it is.
All right. Well, speaking of Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Cloud Gaming is now available on Apple devices and available via browsers for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. Prior to this, it was available for Apple and Windows users as just an invite-only beta period. I know you were in it. You're in it. I'm in it. But now it's available for everyone through Xbox Game Pass
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this last episode. You actually showed.
Yeah,
on
I
stream
demoed
just
it on
how-
stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you demoed it on
Yeah.
stream. Just how seamless and easy
Yeah.
it is.
It's
So we don't.
extremely easy. Yeah, we don't need a
We
demo,
don't.
but I just want to show the
Exactly.
UI. Yeah. But like, yeah, you quickly log in on PC or on your phone, and you're right in. And weirdly, there's a lot of games that you don't expect with touch controls. Like Yakuza Like a Dragon, Nier Automata. Like you don't need a controller; you can just use the controls on screen, which I thought was really interesting. The lineup is humongous, and there's a
Yeah,
lot you can play.
the other bit of news which they announced, which actually isn't on our lineup, I don't believe, is that they've upgraded. I know we talked about it
Mhm.
appeared that some games were upgraded to the Xbox Series X infrastructure and blades, and they announced that yes, Xbox Cloud Gaming is now on these custom Xbox Series X blades, and so you should see a performance boost across the board in every game now, which is exciting. Even if it's not for resolution, which now they say that the game should stream at up to 1080p, 60 frames per second. But more than anything is the load times, which is what we talked about a lot
Yo,
last week.
there are some solid games on here. I could should be playing more crosscode.
Anyway, Bilal gets easily distracted.
Yo,
Bilal, why don't you take this next story on your boy Bidoof?
Bidoof. Anyone playing Pokemon Go will know Bidoofs are everywhere, and there are more Bidoofs incoming. The official Pokemon account has dubbed July 1st Bidoof Day. As everyone knows, Bidoof is the greatest Pokemon out there. It might be the stupidest Pokemon, but it tries. It tries its hardest. And so on July 1st from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time, Bidoofs will be everywhere. There'll be a Bidoof breakout event. Bidoofs will be appearing in 1, 3, and 5-star raid battles. Bidoofs can learn Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, or Thunderbolt. It's stupid. You get a Shadow Bidoof from Team Rocket. There's a Bidoof Cup in the PvP battle mode. So you can only use Bidoofs up to the CP level of 500. It is great, and there's a free research event, and on top of that, 4 times catch experience. Bidoof is the greatest. He is the best. Just look at that smile, everyone. Look at that smile. Um, how can that not make you happy? I know some people in the community are already sick of all the Bidoofs. I just think it's a great joke that keeps on going on, and I just wanted to add it to the story. That's all I
All
got.
right. Next bit of news, we got Dante is coming to Smash Brothers as a Mii fighter. So hats off to Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. They've done a pretty good job of, first off, they've added a ton of DLC characters to this game and DLC characters proper. But obviously, there are so many other characters that people would love that they're just not going to come to the game. And they've done a decent job of adding a bunch of characters as costumes for Mii fighters in Ultimate. So while, granted, I would love a full-blown Dante downloadable character, this is a nice little consolation prize.
And it's
And
not just
so
Dante. Uh,
yes, so that's what I was gonna say. Is also included is Shantae from um, the Shantae series, which I'm a big fan of. I know you're playing like the Metroid games, and a lot of those are
mhm.
very much Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Sorry. Then there is Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia, and then the Dragonborn from Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Are you playing any? When was the last time you played Smash Brothers?
I actually played it 2 weeks ago, right before E3 weekend. And we had a blast. My cousins have decided to get competitive in it. And, we turned off items, and that makes me sad. Like, I like playing with items. I get it. I like people want a great competitive fighting game. Smash has the depth for it, but I always like the looniness of what is offered there.
See, I'm one of the people who I am fine playing with items if we're
Hmm.
just hanging out having a good time. But if people are gonna run their mouth, then we're turning items off and then we're just going straight up. So
Yeah.
I do like that Smash offers that though, that you can play it
Yeah.
super serious and competitive if you
And,
like, or
and they've
it
done
can
a
just
good
be a,
job.
a party game.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed. Now the other bit of news is that Tekken's Kazuya is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on June 29th. So
He's
he is the next
yeah.
full-blown DLC character. Could be included as part of the Ultimate Challenger Pack 10, which costs $5.99, and as a part of the game's Fighters Pass Volume 2, which costs $24.99. Now, what was also announced is that he is the second to last character. The final character will be the one following this, and then we won't see any more DLC characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Oh man, I wish I had this information in front of me, but the roster is huge now on that game.
It's enormous. I wonder if I can pull it up on the side.
That's fine. While you look for it, we can just interrupt. I'm gonna move on to the next story. But before I move away from this, this is cool. I like Tekken. I'm not the biggest Tekken fan. I think his character model looks awesome, and they always do a pretty good job of making them feel like they belong in the game while also being true to the source material. Us playing Mario Golf and seeing how well the online worked and ran has actually made me and my friends more interested in getting back into Smash Brothers. So there's a chance that I will be picking this up and then Smash Brothers up again in the near future. The problem is that once I start playing this game, I know I'm going to get competitive and try to be as good as possible. So there's a fear that it becomes the only game I play for a while.
And that for me is like, I think the problem. I don't like investing time in fighting games. I just like messing around with fighting games for fun.
Yeah.
Just and then when you play against someone that's serious, they're wave dashing, they're grabbing with shields, they edge guarding. Some of the phrases I've heard over the years, I'm like that's nice. Now here's Bowser just breathing. It's me breathing fire with Bowser and just like grabbing guys and just jumping off the edge with them and just to piss off people. But it's a great series. I can't believe there's 81 characters and we're gonna end with 82. That's kind of bonkers.
In the 80s, I just didn't want to misspeak. And
who do you think they go with for the last character?
I have no clue.
Who would you want?
I think
you could choose any character in a video game series or franchise.
I
want to see Crash. I want to see Crash Bandicoot enter this mix. I think
Crash would be cool.
I think you got a lot of the platform heroes over the time. You got Mario, you got Banjo, you got Sonic.
You know what? I mean, I guess we already have Banjo and Kazooie, but I would like to see another two fighter team in the form of Ratchet and Clank after playing Ratchet and Clank recently.
That would be a Sony addition to this.
Yep. I mean, you already have the soft partnership with Microsoft where you get Minecraft Steve and you got Banjo and Kazooie.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I would also take another, you want to bring in Master Chief? I'll play as Master Chief in Smash Brothers. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be a nice one.
But that's the problem, right? Is that we could sit here and spend an hour and a half naming characters that we think would fit into Smash Brothers. And that's also why I don't pity the developers of this game.
Like Sakurai needs his sleep. He needs a vacation.
Right.
I could just imagine him sitting on a beach somewhere, and so a fan goes and like, "You're Sakurai, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're gonna be like, "You should have put Goku in Smash." Just like
exactly.
There's nowhere he can go to escape Smash Brothers.
Did we really need 40 of the 82 characters to come from Fire Emblem? Was that necessary? I don't know. It's a tough job. Let's go ahead and move on. Next story. NIS America partners with Fan Translation Group for the next Trails series localizations. You want to talk about this one?
Yeah.
Because
so
I have no interest.
Yeah. So the Trails games, there's got Legend of Heroes Trails, and then there's like the Cold Steel series, and so they have a bunch of games that haven't been localized yet in the West, and these games are encyclopedias of text. Thousands and thousands of lines of dialogue, of item descriptions, things like that. And so it's a giant effort. And so NIS America partnered with the translation group Geofront to work with them on releasing the remaining games in the series and the upcoming ones into the US for official English localization. And it's awesome to see this because some of the fan translation work that's been done over the years, especially with this series, and the work that's been done with the series, like I was playing there's a trilogy out on the Vita, and there's different versions of it, and the fan community has taken like the deluxe or like whatever the best version of that game is, patched, made a manual patch for it on Vita to put in all the English text, and I think voices as well. It's incredible work that they've done over the years, and I think seeing an official publisher working with a fan group, it's really cool. And if it means better translations, faster localization for these games, even better. I think it's a win across the board. These games are super long though, but if you're looking for a solid RPG with a fantastic story, these games, I highly recommend checking them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for
Yeah,
getting the best translation and best experience on any game.
yeah.
I may not be interested in the Trails series, but I agree. I think it is cool when they're going out of their way and letting these fan translation groups, because 9 times out of 10 they do a much better job than the in studio localization teams.
Yeah, and it's like this paragraph right here. Prior to those releases, NIS America will put out Trials from Zero in fall 2022 and Trials to Zora in 2023. The two games were originally launched in Japan in 2010 and 2011. It's been a decade, and fans have been clamoring for it.
Oh
So
my god, that's so weird for you to say like 2010 has been a decade,
I had
considering that we graduated college before that date.
yeah, I had a friend just message
Uh,
me. I was talking to him about like he posted something about Dashboard Confessional. Like it's been so many years since, and I was like, I can't. I was like, stop dating us. And he's like, it's been 15 years since we graduated high school, and then the slow realization that 3 years from now, I will have lived as long outside of the school system, as I have attending it, and it's scary. It's scary how fast time just goes by. We're old, man.
well,
We're old men.
moving on. Next bit of news: Doom Eternal gets its next gen update on Xbox Series X, S, and PS5. And we've got some information about what those modes bring. So the cool thing about this is all three modes have a base of 60 frames per second. So you're getting 60 frames per second no matter what you pick. On the Series X and PlayStation 5, the same modes across. Well, no, actually, there is one difference. All right, so we'll just go through it. Series X, you have the performance mode, which is 1800p at 120 frames per second. Balance mode, which is 2160p at 60 frames per second, and then that's 4K. And then ray tracing mode, which is 1800p at 60 frames per second. The Series S gets performance mode 1080p at 120 frames, balance mode 1440p at 60 frames per second, but ray tracing mode is not available on the Series S. PlayStation 5 gets performance mode at 1584p 120 frames per second, balance mode 2160p 60 frames per second, and ray tracing mode 1800p 60 frames per second. So the difference between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X is in that 120 frames per second performance mode. You get higher resolution with the Series X than you do with the PlayStation 5. As a reminder, this upgrade is free on all platforms if you already own Doom Eternal, and Doom Eternal is available as part of Xbox Game Pass. I love the 2016 Doom. I loved Doom Eternal. I know some people had some complaints about how much platforming is in Doom Eternal, but I think we don't have enough of these types of games, right? Where oftentimes and for the longest time we fell into this rut of first person shooters where it was, all right, shoot this guy, go over into cover, shoot this guy, go into cover, slowly push forward so that you stop the endless spawning of enemy waves, right? That's how Call of Duties have been for the past, I don't know, 15 years, right? Uh, that's how the majority of first person shooters across the board have been. And then Doom in 2016 came along and was like, you know what? Instead of regenerative shields, you want to get health back, you have to go in right in their face and execute. You get rewarded for smart aggression in the Doom franchise, and I love both these games. And this is reason enough for me to go back to Doom Eternal and actually play the DLC that was released, the expansions that were released, because I have not touched those yet. Any
I
thoughts on? Did you play either of
I
them?
I
2016
played
Eternal.
I played the first one a bit. I picked up Eternal on my PC and I just never played it. I have a bad habit of doing that, but so I might just check these out on consoles and not have to worry. I remember I fired up Eternal and then I looked at how hot my computer got and I was like, "That's." I could smell the smoke, and I was like,
Yeah.
maybe when I update the graphics card, and I did, and I just never got back to it.
All right. Next bit of news: Remedy, developer that I think is incredibly underrated, and I was excited to see them find so much success with Control, even though I believe that Quantum Break walked so that Control could run, right? Like Quantum Break gets a bad rap, and I think when that game is when you get into a flow in that game was a lot of fun. Although, granted, not as good as Control. Um, that being said, Remedy is signing a co-publishing development agreement with 505 Games for a multiplayer spin-off game of Control. Now, we don't have a lot of details about what exactly you're going to be doing in this multiplayer game. Just that, I mean, this announcement is it, just that there is one coming. I have no idea what they could possibly do outside of maybe a kind of cooperative horde based game. But if they're making a full fledged multiplayer release, I can't even imagine what they have in mind for that particular game.
I honestly, I Scarlet Nexus came to mind for a hot second, with all the telekinesis powers and whatnot of like what this might feel like. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
what do you do in a multiplayer setting?
I think you're
I
right. It might just end up. I think we're in the era of Left 4 Dead spin-offs again.
I think that's the only way you kind of make that feel good if you do something along the lines of Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer mode, right? The Legends mode. Because as much as I like Control, it doesn't lend itself, and the movement in that game doesn't lend itself to a competitive multiplayer, in my opinion. Now, I
Yeah.
could be wrong, and I could be surprised by what they pull out, and I have nothing but
Hey,
faith in them as a development studio. I just, I can't grasp or fathom what it is they're going to do with this.
if Ghost of Tsushima could pull it off,
Yeah,
maybe Remedy can as
true,
well.
true.
Yeah, and I think the part that makes me feel a bit better: PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Control on last gen systems, not great. Not a great experience. Ended
I
up
mean,
playing it on PC where the frame rate was smooth.
so I played it on the Xbox One X. So admittedly, it was the more powerful of the
Mhm.
last gen consoles. But I didn't have, outside of maybe one or two fights, I didn't have many frame rate issues. I do know that people were having issues on the base models but it wasn't, again, it wasn't like a cyberpunk level
Yeah.
of unplayability or a bad experience. I still enjoyed it. That's how I played it the first time all the way through. And I'm actually replaying it now because I enjoyed that game so much on the Series X. I'm playing the Ultimate Edition
Yeah.
with the updated visuals and effects.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason I did pick it up on PC was because of the ray tracing. Everybody was raving about ray tracing, and it was one of the first games I got to experience the DLSS support on as well. Because I turned it off and tried to run that thing in 4K, and it was just a slideshow. And then you turn that thing
Yeah.
on, game looks just as good, if not better, and it performs amazing. And so that's where I saw the magic of DLSS for the first time on PC.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mentioned that I was hosting some of Monica's family this weekend. Her cousin, who is maybe a year younger than me, he was here and he's actually spent the night one of the nights, and I was kind of showing off the new console because he hadn't seen any games running on it yet. And so I went through a number of games just showing off different fidelity and effects and stuff like that. And so one of the games I showed him was Control, actually, just to see all of the, the ray tracing in there and the particle effects. And then also I showed him Sea of Thieves because I still think that that water is the best looking water that's ever been in a game. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do. I would love to see more games in that universe. I mean, they kind of came out and said, yeah, there's Alan Wake is set in that like multiverse or that universe that they have going on. And so if they can keep doing stories in that universe, I'm all for it. Now, the last story we have, and arguably the biggest story, this one just released today, is that Sony has purchased and acquired Returnal studio Housemarque.
Good for them. They earned it.
Yes, agreed. I think this is a good acquisition. I think that Housemarque has only ever released quality games. I don't think this is an exciting acquisition, and that is to say that it doesn't change anything really.
Yeah.
Because I think the last game that they released multi-platform was that game Outlast, which they released. Ubisoft published that, but their past 6 or so titles have been published by Sony. Now, it is smart for Sony to snap them up, and I assume that whatever publishing agreement they had ran out. And what it really means is that while it doesn't kind of change the gaming landscape from the past, what's been going on the past few years, it does mean that nobody else can come in and snatch them up, and they do remain exclusive to Sony. And I mean, like you said, good for them. I
Yeah.
loved Returnal.
I like the Resogun.
think-
Resogun was what I played on my
I think-
PS4 for
yeah.
the longest
Like,
time.
I think Resogun is awesome. I'm literally every Super Stardust, every game they've done, I've enjoyed.
It makes me sad because they used to do those arcade shooters, the arcade-esque shooters like Matterfall and things like that.
Yeah.
And those games and Dead Nation, those games were good, but there wasn't an audience, and they said they were pivoting away from that because they weren't making money in that area.
Yes, but the reality is, at the end of the day, Returnal
Returnal.
is still kind of one of those games, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a better, modernized version of that, but it still scratches that arcade action
Yeah.
itch for me, just in the framework of and in the body of a roguelite, And so, I mean, like I said, good on them, smart acquisition. It's one of those things that makes a ton of sense for Sony, and it fills this niche spot in their portfolio. It's just not. It's not a like industry shaking acquisition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Like, while they are, we can talk about. Did you see that other bit of news?
Yeah,
as well?
yeah. Where Sony Japan messed up.
Yeah. So Sony Japan had put up this banner that says "Welcome to the family," and the official banner shows PlayStation Studios, Housemarque, "Welcome to the family." Sony of Japan had an image go up that said PlayStation Studios, Blue Point Games, "Welcome to the family." For those who don't know, Blue Point, they're the ones who have done the remakes of Sony properties in the past. They're the ones who did the Demon's Souls remake. Yeah, that's the most recent release
What's
they
the
did.
other what's the other one they did? Remake. So this is the image that Sony Japan tweeted out.
And again, for those who are just listening to the audio, it's just a banner that says PlayStation Studios, Blue Point Games, "Welcome to the family," which is where they messed up because the official one has Housemarque.
Yeah.
This could be a simple mistake, but also Blue Point Games would be another one of those acquisitions that kind of just makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a studio that if you had asked anybody what studio, if they had to wager, would be the next acquisition for Sony, it would be Blue Point Games.
I mean, their relationship with Microsoft, with Sony it goes back to 2009. They did the God of War collection on PS3, Ico and Shadow of Colossus collection.
Yeah, I was gonna say they did the Shadow of Colossus.
PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale on Vita. They did Flower remastered ports for PS4 and Vita, and then Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, Gravity Rush remastered, Shadow of Colossus remaster, and then the Demon's Souls remaster, and then they did Titanfall. Port of original game release for Microsoft Windows and Xbox One, for the 360. They did the 360 version, and then Yeah,
listen, it's that would be a smart acquisition as well.
I thought they were already part of
The
Sony, to be honest.
Yeah. So we see every year that these remasters and remakes, when done well, sell a ton, are highly critically acclaimed, and there is a hunger for them, right? There is a market out there for these remakes and these remasters. And when they're done well, man, like as much as I am one of those people who once I beat a game, I'm done with it. When these remasters actually bring a new level of when it's not just an upres, when it is a modernization of them, then I'm all for it. And it's super smart to have a studio like that in house, especially considering all the storied franchises that Sony has, right? Now, while yes, I'm more excited about new IPs and new entries and franchises, this that would still be a super smart acquisition.
Yeah, and I think the one fear I have is like we're just having Sony and Microsoft buy up these studios. I mean, EA has picked up a fair share over the years as well. And we just have these super publishers at the end of the day, um, and so I hope we don't end up in a situation where we're losing stuff. Like I know Microsoft was just evaluated at $2 trillion. They're in the $2 trillion club. They're throwing money into gaming. Like I would hate to see them go out and buy an EA or a Ubisoft and make them exclusive. I think the more games you can get into gamers' hands, the better. But I also understand from a business perspective, the more studios they have, the more they can spread out their calendar of games and launches like that. Because game
Yeah,
development
and
takes a long time. But
yeah,
it's uh, happy for these smaller studios. I'm glad they're, especially Housemarque and Bluepoint. They make sense. They have this long partnership with them, with Sony. So at the end of the
I
day, I just hope that this doesn't turn into something worse as a way to just like rally the fans that we're acquiring more
yeah,
studios.
listen, yeah, I understand that fear, and I don't necessarily think that that's what these two acquisitions are. I mean, as you
Yeah,
said, like you thought Bluepoint Games was part of Sony,
yeah,
and granted, that's not officially announced yet, but hypothetically speaking, if it is confirmed down the road, you already thought that was the case. Housemarque hasn't developed a game outside of the Sony console in 10 years, right?
yeah,
And so it's not quite doing that the same way that Microsoft picking buying Bethesda, right? And ZeniMax. I will say the one thing that kind of, for me, alleviates that fear when it comes to Microsoft is Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. It is the cloud streaming. It is the releasing games on PC as well, right? Where,
yeah,
yes, it makes it a console exclusive, but there are plenty of ways for people to play these games. And with cloud streaming, it is a $15 a month subscription, right? So in some ways, it becomes more affordable than releasing on all these other consoles. So I actually don't have that fear. I think that stuff is going to continue to happen, and I think that stuff is normal. It's the same way that, like, as much as it sucks, but sports are like that, right? I mean, the NFL, the games are, played on and shown on certain networks on certain
yeah,
days, and people have different rights. I mean, Netflix has original content, and they also go out, and while they're not, necessarily buying studios, they are signing exclusive production and development deals with talent, which is essentially what this becomes. Now, the difference is they're not signing lifetime ones, um, but it's not out of the norm, and we're still going to have a ton of indie studios as well. And so I don't have that fear. I don't think that grim outlook is going to come to pass at some point. You can only buy so many studios before your slate of games is kind of cannibalizing itself and those acquisitions don't pay off. And so, but also this kind of like arms race, if you want to call it that, of Sony buying some studios and Microsoft buying some studios doesn't bother me at all. But also, I don't play into those console
yeah,
wars, right? And I understand. I am very blessed. I am able to own
When you're old
all
men
these different
like us,
platforms.
you have money.
Yes,
When you have
but
adult
but
money.
but also the reality is these consoles in their own right have plenty of great games to play, and there's
Yeah.
not, I don't care who you are, there's not enough time to play all the great games on one console and all the great games on the other. So just play what you like and what you have and enjoy, you know.
Yeah, I'm right
I
there
think
with you
that
on that.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up for the news. We actually are doing pretty good time wise on this, which means that I can go ahead and get into the live stream of Apex after this. Bilal, you want to run us through a little bit of where people can find you, what people can do to support the channel?
Yeah, you guys can find me at on Twitter at Bilal_Mian, on Twitch at Night Mystic, and you can find the work print at theworkprint.com, and the work print on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm trying to make that Instagram a bit more lively. Started using it again today. And yeah, no, on Twitch, definitely give us a follow, a subscribe. Make sure to, if you're listening to the podcast, leave a rating. Goes a long way in the comment. I'd love to hear some feedback and incorporate that. If you have any questions that you want to submit into the show for us or in general about gaming, theworkprint@gmail.com for that. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber and you linked it to your Twitch account, you get a free gift every month for subscriptions. If you like us, give us a gift. It goes a long way. Video games are expensive.
Yeah, that is to say that if you have Amazon Prime and you link it to your Twitch account, you have Prime Gaming, which allows you one free subscription to any channel a month. That does not auto renew, so you do have to come back every month. But if you like and want to support us, yes, please use that subscription here.
Yeah, Rob needs to build a car.
You can find me on the social medias at SunnyVice20, SUNNYVICE20. It's also my gamer tag. That's also my Twitch, twitch.tv/SunnyVice20. I've been streaming less often there because I'm trying to do more stuff here, just kind of keep the ball rolling with the momentum we have here so far. But I do plan on streaming again sometime this week because me and TJ have to finish that It Takes Two
Oh, crap.
series that we were doing.
Yeah, I actually just realized I need to contact my buddy and we need to finish that. Ooh, that's our relationship
Like
has
I
not gone well.
Besides leaving a comment on the podcast and leaving us a review, also make sure to tell somebody about it if you enjoy it. Even if somebody can't catch the stream live, it is archived if they want to watch it later or if they want to listen to it on the podcast. As much as I enjoy doing it live here, the production and the audio quality on the podcast has been so good lately that that's actually my favorite place to kind of re-listen to it and do just some, quality checks on the podcast itself. So, give it a listen if you can't catch us live. I think that about wraps it up on behalf of Bilal and myself. Until next time, bye
Bye
bye.
bye.